Discover the heartwarming truth. A young homeless girl's incredible message changes a millionaire. Mia hugged her tattered coat close and smiled as the October breeze ruffled her tangled hair. In the heart of downtown Chicago, the streets hummed with activity, but to her, they sang a different tune. With hopeful eyes, she navigated the bustling avenues armed only with crafted trinkets made from bottle caps and colorful string. Street vendors called out, and passing strangers seemed to glide past her, lost in their own worlds. Yet Mia thrived amidst it all. Each handmade bracelet she sold was a reminder that joy could still find a way, even in the darkest corners of life. Every night, the abandoned library on the corner became her sanctuary. She curled up on the dusty floor, flipping through old pages filled with stories of brave dreamers and heroes, letting their words wrap around her like a warm blanket. One day, she whispered to the characters in the books, "I'll have a family too." The thought illuminated her heart, fueling her steadfast optimism even when loneliness nipped at her heels. Then there was Jonah, the millionaire who owned half the skyscrapers around him. He walked these same streets, but felt like a ghost trapped in glass and steel, wealthy, but painfully hollow. He longed for something more than the empty smiles from his colleagues. But how could a man so successful feel so lost? As he strolled the same avenues Mia navigated, he saw her vibrant spirit shining against the gray backdrop of the world. Little did he know that their fates were about to intertwine. One afternoon, at a local shelter, Mia delivered warm food she had pulled together after selling her trinkets. Jonah was there too, caught in the web of his debut into philanthropy. He noticed her infectious laughter. It danced in the air, a melody that beckoned. She held the food with care, her eyes sparkling, hope radiating from her. When their paths finally crossed, it felt like sunlight breaking through dense clouds. "Hi, I'm Mia," she chirped, her grin infectious. Jonah introduced himself, instantly captivated by her spirit that seemed to burst against the dull reality of so many. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue." Days turned to weeks, and their friendship flourished like wildflowers breaking through concrete. Mia's innocent views on love and community sparked something inside Jonah. For the first time, he questioned the very foundation of his existence. But whispers swirled among Jonah's elite associates. They called it reckless, a foolish romance. Jonah faltered, caught between the pressure of his high society life and the profound warmth of Mia's unwavering spirit. Then one day, overwhelmed by her struggles and fear of judgment, Mia withdrew. Her laughter faded like distant wind chimes, and Jonah felt an ache in his chest that he couldn't shake off. It was a painful realization. Had he let the world stifle the refreshing air Mia had brought into his life? The world around Jonah suddenly sharpened his focus. Maria's light burned brighter than he ever imagined. He knew he had a choice to make. Either cling to empty privilege or courageously invest in dreams, just like Mia's. Could he redefine his path? Could love truly bridge such vast divides? As Mia wrote a note, pouring her heart onto paper, the echo of a door slamming shut in the distance left readers wondering. Would Jonah choose the path of opportunity and connection, or would he let fear win? Jonah stood frozen, his heart racing as he watched Mia retreat into the shadows of the street. Her absence weighed heavily in the air, an unsettling silence in his once bustling world. The laughter that had echoed through the shelter felt like a distant memory. It was then he realized Mia wasn't just a friend. She was something more, a catalyst for change he desperately needed. He paced the room, hand running through his hair, thoughts spiraling. "What will I do without her?" he whispered to himself. The decision settled in his gut like a stone. He couldn't let fear dictate his choices any longer. Jonah had seen her resilience, her dreams. She had given him a glimpse into a life filled with purpose, something he longed for. He envisioned the rainy streets where she often sat, crafting her trinkets. The vibrant colors of her bracelets danced in his mind. Each one represented a story, a piece of her. Could he have the bravery to reach out and pull her back toward the warm light they had shared? Determined, he grabbed his coat and dashed outside. Ignoring the drumming of rain on the pavement, as he navigated the busy streets, he thought of the library where she often found refuge. A dusty sanctuary filled with magic and hope. As he arrived, he paused at the entrance. The old wooden door creaked as he pushed it open, revealing rows of neglected books and whispers of forgotten tales. Despite the gloom, he felt a spark of hope as he called out, "Mia, are you in here?" The only answer was the soft echo of his voice. Disappointment tightened in his chest as he scanned the room. Just as he was about to leave, a flicker of movement caught his eye. At the back corner, he spotted Mia, curled up among a pile of books, clutching a slender notebook. The sight of her serenity filled him with both relief and awe. "Mia," he said softly, stepping closer, "I've been looking for you." She glanced up, wide eyes brimming with surprise. For a moment, the world outside faded away. "Why did you stop coming to the shelter?" Jonah asked, concern lacing his tone. He watched as emotions flickered across her face: fear, sadness, then a flicker of hope. "I didn't want to burden you," she admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. "I'm just a girl with nothing to offer." "No." Jonah stepped closer, crouching down to her level. "You have so much to give. You're the most incredible person I know. You've opened my eyes to what really matters." Mia blinked, startled by the intensity of his gaze. "What if people find out?" She sounded fragile, as if the world were ready to crush her spirit again. Jonah took a deep breath. He could feel the weight of his privilege, of the world that had kept him at bay for so long. "Let them talk. I can't hide behind a facade anymore. I want to invest in your dream. Together, we can build something beautiful." She hesitated, glancing at her notebook, its pages filled with dreams that seemed so far away. Jonah reached for her hand, warmth spreading between them. "What do you want, Mia? What does your heart say?" The promise hung between them, fragile yet powerful. Everything hinged on this moment. Would she trust him? Would she believe they could create a life filled with dreams side by side? As Mia opened her mouth to respond, a commotion outside shattered the quiet. A group of people rushed past, their voices a mix of excitement and urgency. Jonah turned, his heart pounding with anticipation. Had the world begun to change? Mia's eyes went wide. "What is happening?" Jonah felt a surge of adrenaline. "Let us find out together." With renewed purpose, they stepped toward the door, hand in hand, ready to face whatever awaited them. But what awaited them outside was a reality neither of them could have predicted. The moment Jonah and Mia stepped out into the swirling chaos, a wave of sound hit them. Outside the library, the streets buzzed with life. People were gathered, faces lit with excitement, pointing toward the makeshift stage that had been erected in the square. A local campaign was underway, a rally for change, a community effort to raise awareness about homelessness and the need for more shelters and support. Mia's grip tightened on Jonah's hand. The noise was overwhelming, but the brightness of the scene pulled them in. Jonah looked at her, his heart racing not just from nerves, but from the spark of possibility flickering in the air. "This could be it," he said, his voice rising above the crowd. Together, they wove through the throngs of people, ears perked for any details. A passionate speaker stood at the podium, arms raised, words flowing. "Each of us has a story, and together we can create change," he declared, the crowd roaring in agreement. Jonah felt each word resonate deep inside him, igniting a determination he hadn't known he had. "Look, Mia," he pointed toward the speaker. "That's what I want for you. Your story deserves to be told." Mia's wide eyes held a hint of skepticism. "But what if no one listens? What if they don't care?" Her voice trembled, vulnerability resurfacing. The fear of rejection was all too familiar. Jonah stepped closer, tilting her chin gently. "Trust me, they care. You matter, and you have so much to share. Let us do this together." Encouraged by his words, she took a hesitant breath, still clinging to his hand. Slowly, they joined the crowd, energized by the electricity of the moment. It felt like the world was shifting. Any hints of doubt in Mia's eyes began to falter. The speaker launched into a moving story about a young artist who had turned her struggles into beautiful paintings that told her experiences on the streets. Jonah noticed Mia perk up at this, a flicker of recognition mingling with familiarity. "See," he whispered, "people respond to stories." It opens hearts. As the crowd grew, Mia's sunshine bracelets caught the light, casting reflections like rainbows on the pavement. In that instant, Jonah saw them as tiny beacons of hope, potential, and connection. Then, with a twist of fate, the mic was passed around for people to share their stories. Jonah felt the energy shift, hands were raised, and voices clamored for a chance to speak. Mia's heart raced. What if I shared my story? She gasped, her eyes darting toward the podium. Jonah swallowed hard and nodded, feeling a mixed rush of hope and trepidation. Absolutely. You belong up there. This is your moment. Moments passed like quicksilver, the frantic energy growing. Voices echoed around them, everyone vying for attention, their stories intertwining in a tapestry of resilience and struggle. But there stood Mia, light flickering within her, doubt fighting the urge to break free. And then, it happened. Her legs began to move, seemingly without her command, guiding her toward the stage. Jonah felt a rush of adrenaline, his heart pounding wildly. He watched as she paused at the steps, hesitant but determined. The crowd quieted, turning their eyes toward her, his heart filled with a mix of pride and fear. The world was looking at her. What would she say? At the edge of the stage, she turned back, searching for Jonah's eyes. She found them, anchoring in the warmth of his unwavering support. Spurred by that connection, she took a deep breath and stepped forward, her heart racing as she gripped the mic tightly. With the crowd waiting in breathless anticipation, Mia started to speak. But would she find the courage to reveal the truth of her journey? Jonah held his breath, knowing this moment could change everything for both of them. Mia stood there, the mic feeling heavy in her palm. The crowd's silence felt like a warm blanket wrapped around her, inviting yet terrifying. She looked down at her worn shoes, thinking of all the times she had stood on the other side of the curtain, never daring to step out. Would they really want to hear her story? Would it matter? Jonah's steady gaze anchored her. She could see the pride shining in his eyes, the belief he had in her. Taking a steadying breath, she felt the flutter of fear give way to a surge of courage. It was now or never. Mia began, her voice slightly shaky, and then steadied with every word. I used to think that my story didn't matter. I thought no one would care about a girl like me. She glanced at the faces in the crowd, searching for understanding. But being here today, surrounded by all of you, I feel different. I feel seen. A murmur of support rippled through the crowd. Encouraged, Mia continued. I've been homeless. I lost my home, and I had to learn to survive. Some days are harder than others. I felt invisible. It made me feel like I was less than, like I didn't have the right to dream. A few people in the audience nodded. Jonah could see their expressions shift, empathy blooming. Mia pushed on with her heart racing, words spilling out like a long-held secret finally set free. But even in the darkest times, I found something I wasn't expecting, hope. And I found it because of people, like you. Random acts of kindness would light up my days, reminding me that I wasn't alone. Her heart swelled, pushing her higher, her voice growing stronger. I met others who shared their stories with me. People who had seen the worst and lived to tell about it. Their strength inspired me. Together, we fought for our right to be heard. A surge of applause erupted from the crowd. It spread like wildfire, wrapping around her with warmth. Jonah couldn't help but smile broadly, his pride bubbling over. He knew Mia was touching hearts. Mia flashed a quick grin and took another breath. I want to be that voice for someone else. We all have stories that deserve to be told, don't we? She paused, letting the question hang in the air. What if we shared those stories? What if, together, we made this community better, Kinder? We can bring change. The crowd erupted again, cheers and claps echoing around her. She could see people leaning in closer, eager to connect. I believe we can do it, Mia exclaimed, her passion igniting the space around her. Every small act counts. Every moment we show kindness, whether it's through a smile, a meal, or just listening, creates a ripple that can change the world. Tears pricked at the corners of her eyes. The weight of her journey, mixed with the welcome embrace of acceptance. She was not just a girl who had struggled. She was a beacon of hope, a bridge to understanding. As she concluded, the air felt thick with potential. Jonah's heart raced as he watched the audience swell with energy, absorbed by Mia's message. After a final heartfelt plea for unity, Mia stepped back from the mic, breathless and alive. The applause was deafening, people standing, clapping, some even wiping tears from their cheeks. Mia's smile was radiant, pure. Jonah surged forward, wrapping her in a warm embrace. "You did it. You were amazing," he whispered, pulling back to look into her eyes. And then, as they gazed at the crowd, Jonah spotted someone moving through the throngs, an unmistakable figure in an expensive suit, a man he recognized as a local millionaire known for his philanthropic efforts. His eyes were fixed on Mia, curiosity and intrigue etched across his face, and Jonah couldn't help but wonder, was the millionaire a potential ally or an obstacle? What would happen next? Jonah's eyes widened as the millionaire's gaze locked onto Mia. The man's expression was hard to read, a mix of surprise and admiration. Jonah felt a flutter of anxiety twist in his stomach. He had seen the philanthropist at various charity events, always making headlines. But now, closeness changed the stakes entirely. What was he thinking? Mia was still basking in the afterglow of her speech, the applause echoing around her like a sweet melody. She looked like she was floating, her cheeks flushed with adrenaline. Jonah tore his gaze from the millionaire and focused on Mia, not wanting to rain on her moment with worries. This was her time to shine. People began to gather around Mia, their faces lit with enthusiasm, eager to express their support. "You were fantastic," someone shouted, while another held out a card, offering help. Mia accepted it with a glow of gratitude, her vulnerability turning into empowerment before their eyes. Jonah couldn't help but admire her spirit. She was radiant, truly alive in this moment. But still, that man had gnawed at him. Just then, a tall figure in a tailored suit reached the front. The crowd parted like waves, curiosity bubbling in the atmosphere. Jonah braced himself. The man reached Mia, extending a hand with a warm smile. "Mia, was it?" he said, his voice smooth as silk. "Yes," Mia responded, surprise lighting her eyes. "Do I know you?" "I've seen you speak at community events before," the man replied, his gaze steady. "You have a powerful voice. It's truly inspiring." Mia flushed, her confidence wavering slightly. "Thank you. I just shared my story. I hope it made a difference." "Oh, it definitely did. People need to hear stories like yours," he said, leaning closer, softening his tone. "I'm Nathan. Your words about kindness really resonated with me." Jonah watched closely, tension creeping into his shoulders. Was this millionaire really genuine? Or was there a deeper intent? "I'd love to learn more about your journey. Maybe we could sit down and talk," Nathan continued, pulling out a business card. Mia looked taken aback but excited, her eyes shining as she took the card. "Really? You want to talk?" "Absolutely. I run a foundation that helps young people who face challenges like yours," Nathan explained, hope spilling in his voice. "I think we could do great work together." The crowd watched, their excitement palpable. Jonah felt his heart race. He wanted to trust this moment, to believe it was genuine. But behind the smiles, he sensed an urgency, a hidden agenda that rattled him. The crowd buzzed with interest. Jonas pulled Mia gently aside. "Are you sure about this?" he whispered, concern painting his expression. "What do you mean?" she responded, her eyes darting to Nathan, who was already chatting with nearby supporters. "Just think it through. It all seems a little too perfect," Jonah pressed, anxiety bubbling at the back of his throat. Mia's expression softened. "I get it, Jonah. But this could be a chance to reach more people, to make a bigger impact." Just then, Nathan approached again, flashing a charismatic smile. "Sorry to interrupt, but I'd really like to have a deeper conversation with you soon. I think we could do something incredible together," he urged gently. Mia hesitated, the weight of possibility heavy in the air. Jonah watched, torn between his protective instincts and the truth shining in Mia's determined eyes. Suddenly, the crowd erupted in cheers again as someone shouted, "Mia? You're a star." Mia smiled wide, turning back to Nathan. "All right, let us talk." Jonah's heart sank a little, uncertainty gnawing at him. Something felt off, and he couldn't shake it. Would she be prepared for the complexities of this world? As Nathan placed a hand on Mia's back, guiding her toward the crowd, Jonah stepped closer, a silent vow brewing within him. He would stay close. He would protect her no matter what it took. But as they mingled, Jonah couldn't help but wonder, was Mia on the brink of a beautiful new beginning, or stepping into something bigger than she realized? The answer loomed ahead, just out of reach. Mia felt a rush of excitement, the kind that made her fingertips tingle as Nathan gestured for her to follow him into the throng of admirers. The atmosphere was electric, filled with chatter and laughter, but Jonah felt like he was being ripped away from a shore, each wave of the crowd pulling him farther from her. Mia turned to him, her smile radiant. "I'll just be a minute." She followed Nathan, the tall man's presence almost magnetic. Jonah watched, his heart pounding. Each step she took felt like a note in a song that he didn't want to hear. He hesitated, unsure of what to do next. Should he follow? Would it look clingy? But the urge to protect her was too strong. He had spent countless hours together with Mia, sharing stories under streetlights and dreaming of a life beyond their struggles. Nathan's smooth talk fell out of place, like an imposter in a precious moment, and Jonah couldn't shake the doubt that clung to him that in the distance. He could see Mia and Nathan diving into conversation. Nathan was animated, his hands gesturing with enthusiasm. Mia seemed entranced, her eyes wide, drinking in every word. Jonah clenched his fists, frustration bubbling inside him. Did Nathan really care about her story, or was he just looking for another charity win under his belt? Jonah caught snippets of their conversation as the crowd surged forward, laughter mingling with the soft clinks of glasses. "Your story can inspire so many," Nathan said, and Jonah felt a pang of unease. Mia nodded, her expression hopeful. "I just want to make a difference." "You will," Nathan assured with a smile. "I can help. We could launch campaigns, create scholarships. There's so much potential." Jonah's heart raced. This wasn't just a conversation, it was an opportunity. But what kind of future did that opportunity hold? Would it be beneficial, or would it trap Mia in a world full of expectations and false friendships? "Hey, you all right?" came a voice from beside him. It was Sarah, one of the organizers. She had noticed Jonah's expression and stepped closer. "I don't know. I don't trust him," Jonah admitted, his voice low. "Trust is earned, not given." She nodded, eyes scanning the crowd. "But the fact that Mia is willing to meet him means something. This could be her chance. Or her mistake," Jonah replied, shaking his head. "She's never been in a world like this. Rich people don't always have the best intentions." Sarah placed her hand on his shoulder. "You know Mia, she's smart. If something feels off, she'll see it. Just let her breathe and figure this out." Jonah sighed, letting her words sink in. Maybe Sarah was right. Maybe he needed to step back just a bit, allow Mia to explore her potential, even if it made him anxious. But the gnawing worry was still present, filling his chest like stones. He caught another glimpse of Mia. She looked radiant talking to Nathan, her laughter ringing like melody. He wanted to feel happy for her, to celebrate this moment. Yet, doubt cast shadows in his mind as the crowd surged again. Mia waved at him, catching his eye. There was a twinkle of glee in her gaze, one that made his heart flutter. "Jonah, come join us," she called out, and his pulse quickened. Forcing a smile, Jonah took a deep breath, his nervousness morphing into resolve. He could handle this. He would be part of this new chapter, closely watching over her, because despite his fears, he believed in her strength just as much as he believed in his longing to protect her. But as he stepped forward, he couldn't shake the feeling that this was only the beginning of something far more complicated than he could have ever imagined. Could he truly safeguard her heart amid ambitions and hidden intentions? The questions lingered as he walked toward Mia, and suddenly, a loud crash echoed from the stage, drawing everyone's attention. What just happened? Jonah's stomach dropped, concern flooding his thoughts. Would he have to face more than just the uncertainties of Nathan's intentions? Jonah's instincts kicked in as he pushed through the crowd. The noise around him faded to a distant hum. He squared his shoulders and moved urgently toward the stage where the crash had come from. Behind him, the crowd was starting to murmur, confusion rippling through the sea of faces. By the time Jonah reached the edge of the stage, he saw a group of flustered organizers rushing to help. A banner had toppled from the blaring lights, crashing to the floor with a loud thud. And then, as if everything around him had shifted in slow motion, he spotted Mia, her eyes wide with shock, staring at the disrupted scene. "Are you okay?" he called, his voice cutting through the noise. She turned her gaze to him, relief washing over her face as their eyes locked. But before she could respond, Nathan swooped in beside her, his expression a mix of concern and annoyance. "I've got it," Nathan said, stepping protectively in front of her, dismissing Jonah's presence as if he weren't even there. Jonah's stomach sank. Was Nathan trying to be the hero? Or was he just making a play for Mia's attention? No, you don't, Jonah protested, stepping closer, unwilling to back down. She might be shaken. Let us check on the others first together. Mia's eyes flickered between the two boys, sensing the tension filling the air. She reached out a hand, pushing against Nathan gently. Jonah's right. I'm fine, just surprised. But what about the people over there? She gestured toward a small knot of attendees who were trying to help an elderly woman who had fallen during the chaos. Relief washed over Jonah. She was thinking clearly, her instinct for compassion shining through the confusion. He moved toward the elderly woman. Let us help, he said, dropping his guard for a moment and focusing on what really mattered. They both rushed forward, but not before Jonah shot Nathan a meaningful look, silently demanding that he back off. Together, they helped the woman to her feet, while Nathan hovered, ever watchful, his posture adjusting as he attempted to fit into this new narrative. Jonah found himself glancing over his shoulder often, half expecting Nathan to swoop in and take charge again with his polished charm. When they finally returned to the updates emerging from the organizers, Mia turned to Jonah, breathless. Thank you for doing this, she said, sincerity mixing with the adrenaline coursing through them both. I just didn't know how to react. You were brave, Mia. Jonah smiled, but his voice was lower now, tinged with worry. But we've got to be careful. It's easy for someone like Nathan to turn this into a spectacle. Mia looked over her shoulder at Nathan, who was engrossed in conversation with a few other guests, his charisma on full display. I know you care about me, she started cautiously, but maybe he's right. There is potential here. Jonah's heart twisted. Mia, potential doesn't always come with good intentions. I don't want you to get lost in someone else's ambitions. She opened her mouth to respond, but before she could, the crowd's mood shifted again, now filled with anticipation as an announcement burst through the speakers. Please remain calm while we ensure everyone's safety. We'll start again shortly. Jonah clenched his fists as anxiety buzzed through him. He could feel the chaos still whirling around, like a storm tucked just beneath the surface, waiting to erupt again. Mia maintained her composure, but her expression betrayed an air of uncertainty. What if I want to explore this? She asked, her voice wavering slightly, uncertain how to navigate through Jonah's protective feelings and her own desires. Then I will be right there, Jonah replied firmly. I won't let anything happen to you. As he spoke, he couldn't help but notice Nathan's eyeing them from a distance, his demeanor shifting subtly. Had Jonah misread him? Something dark flashed over Nathan's face, something Jonah couldn't quite pin down. But before Jonah could act on that instinct, the stage lights flickered back to life. A microphone echoed through the hall. Please welcome our next speaker. Jonah gritted his teeth, knowing that whatever happened next would change everything, not just for Mia, but for him too. Would he be able to guard her heart against the mounting pressures of Nathan's charm and a world that seemed to want to consume her? As the speaker's voice rose above the crowd, Jonah knew they were stepping into a realm of uncertainty. What truth awaited them next? Jonah's heart raced as the speaker took the stage. Bright lights illuminated a young girl, no more than 10, clutching a colorful cardboard sign that read, "Hope is for everyone." The crowd hushed, curiosity and anticipation sparking in the air. Mia stood beside Jonah, captivated. He couldn't help but notice how her eyes sparkled with a mixture of empathy and wonder. This moment was important. He could feel it in his bones. As the girl cleared her throat, a ripple of silence washed over the audience, all eyes trained on her. "Hi, everyone," she said, her voice steady despite the crowd. "I'm Lily, and I'm here to talk about hope." Her words tumbled like a cascade, simple yet poignant. Jonah's grip on Mia's shoulder tightened. Where is she going with this? He breathed, momentarily lost in her youthful courage. "I'm homeless," Lily continued, her lips curling into a small smile that lit up her face. "But that doesn't mean I'm without dreams. Every day, I find reasons to be happy. Friends I make. Kindness shown to me." Jonah glanced at Mia. Her gaze was unwavering, a depth of understanding showing in her expression. The girl's words were stirring something inside of her, he could see it. "It's hard, yes," Lily said, glancing at the spectators. But if I can find hope, if I can believe that things can get better, then so can you. Jonah could feel the collective heartbeat of the crowd. The tension from moments ago faded slowly, replaced by a growing sense of connection. Lily's story was breaking boundaries, pushing walls back, allowing vulnerability to leak into the atmosphere. Mia whispered, "This is amazing." Jonah nodded, but anxiety gnawed at him. He wanted to pull her away from all of this, away from Nathan's powerful influence. Yet, here was Lily, a tiny beacon of hope, using her voice to light the darkness that surrounded so many. He knew Mia was drawn to that light. When Lily finished her speech, the crowd erupted into applause, cheers echoing throughout the hall. Jonah's heart swelled but also ached. He didn't know how to protect Mia from the upheaval of emotions that this moment inspired. Mia turned to him, excitement dancing in her eyes. "We have to help her," she said, urgency lacing her tone. "She needs someone to support her." He paused, feeling the weight of her anticipation. "I get that, but we don't know anything about her situation, Mia. What if it overwhelms you? Or what if it doesn't?" She challenged, her voice softer now, almost pleading. "What if this is exactly what I need? What if helping her helps me understand my own path?" That caught him off guard. Jonah's heart clenched again. He wanted to protect her, but his instincts told him to trust her, trust this spark of courage bubbling up inside her. Just then, a larger figure emerged from the crowd, Nathan's presence looming like a shadow. He glanced at the now vibrant stage and then turned his attention to Mia. "What are you doing, Mia? This is a distraction. You should really focus on other opportunities." His charming smile felt like a shackle around Mia's ambition, and Jonah felt the urge to step between them. "She has every right to explore her interests. Nathan, don't act like you own this place." Nathan's smile faded for just a moment, his expression tightening, a dark cloud passing briefly over his face before it returned. "You're making a mistake," he warned, but Jonah could see an edge of something deeper buried in those words. As they resolved their silent standoff, Lily's laughter echoed behind them, a reminder of the power of hope. A stirring in Jonah's chest challenged the fear of losing Mia to someone like Nathan. Mia turned back to him, her hand brushing against his. "I want to make a difference, Jonah. Will you stand by me?" His heart flared in response, torn between fear and desire to honor her wishes. A moment stretched, and then he nodded slowly. "If that is what you want, I'll be here. I promise." But as the crowd surged with enthusiasm, Jonah couldn't shake the feeling that Nathan's eyes were watching, planning, and that what had begun with Lily's sweet honesty would soon spiral into something far more complex. What challenge awaited them now as they stepped into this new direction together? Would they be able to rise above the mounting pressure surrounding them? Jonah led Mia through the swelling crowd, her enthusiasm guiding their path. His heart raced, a tangled knot of excitement and apprehension. Inside him, a debate was brewing. Should they really dive into Lily's world, a world Jonah had never thought of stepping into? It felt both exhilarating and terrifying. Mia's hand, warm and steady, squeezed his as they neared the stage. "Let us find her," she said, urgency lacing her voice. Together, they navigated through the throng, the jubilant energy of the crowd washing over them. Jonah was immersed in a wave of emotions, aware of Nathan's now distant gaze heavy upon them. He shuddered, catching glimpses of the powerful figure whispering with others, his brows knitted in concentration. Jonah's instincts urged him to turn back, to shield Mia from the potential storm brewing in Nathan's heart. But Mia's spirit was unyielding. "Look," she exclaimed, pointing toward the stage where Lily was greeting members of the crowd. The young girl's smile could ignite a room, infectious and radiant. Jonah felt something in him shift, a flicker of hope ignited by the fiery determination in Mia's eyes. They reached the edge of the stage, and Jonah watched as Lily spoke to an elderly woman, her expression sincere. Jonah took a breath. This was not just about hope anymore, it was about real lives, real stories waiting to be told. "Hi there," Mia greeted, her voice bright, piercing through the clamor. Lily's head snapped toward them. "You saw me?" She beamed, her confidence enchanting Jonah. "You like my speech?" "We loved it," Mia replied, stepping closer. "You're amazing. You inspire people." "Thank you," Lily said, her cheeks flushing with pride. She lowered her head for a moment, then glanced back at them with wide eyes. Do you really want to help? Jonah's heart thumped violently. This wasn't just the moment where he could protect Mia. It was a moment that could pivot everything for them. We do, he said, grounding himself. What do you need? The girl's expression shifted, seriousness overtaking her glee. I need a safe place to sleep. And food. And friends. Mia crouched down, meeting Lily's gaze as if to draw every ounce of her truth. You have friends in us. How can we help you get what you need? Lily hesitated. It's complicated. I'm too big to stay in shelters. They don't let people like me stay long. Just until they find a way to help. Mia's brow furrowed in thought. What if we helped you find something better? A longer-term solution? Hope flickered in the girl's eyes. You mean that? You'd really help? Jonah felt a swell of warmth inside. He hated that this child had learned to doubt kindness. Yes, we can figure this out together, he assured that in that moment. The world around them faded, as if it were the three of them against everything. Just when Jonah thought a wave of relief would wash over him, a sudden cold grazed his nape, sending a shiver down his spine. He turned slightly and noticed Nathan again, now approaching with purpose, his dark expression ominous. Well, what do we have here? Nathan's voice dripped with condescension. Playing saviors, are we? He laughed, the sound hollow, lacking warmth. Jonah's stomach nodded. Nathan's presence loomed large, threatening to crush the delicate moment forming between Mia and Lily. Where did the man find the nerve? Mia, this could be risky, Nathan said, speaking as if Jonah weren't even there. You should really consider no, Nathan, Mia interrupted, standing tall, fiery resolve brimming within her. I want to help Lily, and I'm not letting you or anyone else stop me. The words hung in the air, hanging precariously between hope and tension. Jonah sensed the shift, like an electric current coursing through them. Lily's eyes sparkled with appreciation, yet the darkness in Nathan's stare suggested an impending clash. Mia was drawing a line in the sand, and Jonah felt the weight of her choice. He was proud of her, proud and terrified. With Nathan's looming threat, they were stepping into a storm, one that could unravel everything. Mia took a deep breath, gathering her courage. We're going to make a difference for Lily, no matter what, she declared softly yet firmly. But as Jonah looked at Nathan again, he couldn't ignore the swirling uncertainty ahead. What would Nathan do now to protect his image? Would they really stand together in this battle? Or would the forces trying to keep them apart pull them under into darkness? The stakes were rising, and Jonah knew they had to move fast. Would they find a safe path for Lily, or would Nathan's influence tighten its grip around them, complicating things beyond their control? Mia stood her ground, heart racing, and courage surging through her veins. I'm not afraid of you, Nathan, she said, her voice steady despite the weight of his gaze. In that moment, she felt like a warrior, ready to defend those who couldn't fight for themselves. Jonah stood beside her, pride swelling in his chest, ready to support her however she needed. Lily's eyes widened, full of hope and admiration. You really mean it? She asked, her innocence shining through the fear that typically haunted kids like her. Absolutely, Mia replied, her smile warm, reassuring, a beacon in a storm. We're going to find you a safe place, and nobody can take that away from you. Nathan's expression darkened. You're naive, Mia. Jumping into this chaotic situation won't help her at LL, only get you into trouble. But Mia stood firm, the world around her fading until only she, Jonah, and Lily existed in that vulnerable space filled with possibility. You can't stop us from doing what's right, she declared, every syllable fueled by her passion. Jonah felt Mia's words resonate deep within him. This was about more than just Lily's immediate needs. It was about forging a path where kindness wasn't overshadowed by wealth and power, the kinds of barriers that had always kept him feeling like a ghost in his own life. He turned to Nathan, forcing confidence into his voice. Lily deserves this chance. We both know that. Nathan scoffed, crossing his arms as if to reinforce the walls dividing him from their unity. You think your little mission will change the world? It won't. But Jonah refused to be disheartened. He glanced at Mia, her resolve illuminating the shadows that lingered in Nathan's threats. Change starts small, doesn't it? Jonah said. Sometimes all it takes is one person to act. Mia stepped forward, her energy radiant and unwavering. Then let us be those people. Together. Without thinking, She took Lily's hand and Jonah's too, forming a chain of trust. The world felt weighted, yet light at the same time. Soon they were engulfed in the crowd, united by shared intentions. Jonah could feel the warmth of Mia's hand in his, every squeeze passing a current of strength between them. "Come on," Mia said, her voice breathy but determined, leading them toward a nearby community center that had recently opened. "Let us talk to them about helping Lily." Lily's face lit up, hope blossoming within her as they walked. The three moved like a ripple in a pond, creating waves of determination to protect one another. As they arrived, Mia knocked gently on the door, the anticipation thick in the air. Everyone in the room turned at the sound, their attention drawn to the trio who wore hope like a shield. "Hi, is anyone here who can help?" Mia called, her voice clear and ringing in the silence. A kind face peeked out from behind the front desk. "What can we do for you?" Jonah felt the tension ease as they began sharing Lily's story. They spoke with passion, weaving their dreams into action, painting a picture of the brighter future they all envisioned. Slowly, others began to join their conversation, excitement brewing in the air. Jonah felt the community rally around them, a circle of support forming that shielded them from the stark reality just moments before. And in that room, surrounded by people who believed in change, the fear Nathan instilled began to fade. Meanwhile, Nathan's face darkened as he watched from the shadows, frustration brewing. He would not let this slide. Mia was his key to the affluent charity world, and he needed her back under his control. But for Mia, this was her moment. As she spoke with those in the community, Jonah noticed a light in her eyes, a mix of resolve and liberation. The weight of hidden expectations lifted, and the future she dreamed of seemed possible. When the community center manager agreed to allow Lily to stay and work alongside them, the room erupted into cheers. Jonah's chest swelled with pride as he watched the three of them share in the joy, a powerful bond now forged. Mia's laughter echoed, pure and free, and Jonah felt his heart flutter at the sight. Thank you, Lily cried, tears streaming down her cheeks as relief washed over her. Mia crouched to her level. "We did this together," she said softly. "You matter. Your story matters. We'll make this work." Jonah smiled, feeling as though the world around him had transformed. They were creating something beautiful together. That he glanced over at Nathan one last time, who stood alone in his corner, simmering in his own failure. It was crystal clear now. Power and privilege were never enough. Mia and their connection had unleashed a courage within him that even wealth couldn't buy. Jonah wouldn't let Nathan's threats hang in the air anymore. With Nathan's shadow drifting back into the distance, Jonah turned back to Mia and Lily, eyes brighter than ever. Whether it's helping Lily, starting new initiatives, or simply believing in each other, we can continue to make a difference. Mia nodded vigorously, her face glowing with hope. Together, they all shared a powerful embrace, hearts swelling with joy and promise. "Let us get to work," Lily exclaimed, grinning, ready to dive into her new adventure. Jonah felt a rush of warmth ripple through him. This was the transformation, the heartbeat of community in action. And together, as they stepped forward into this new life, he couldn't help but feel that even the tallest skyscrapers in the city could never overshadow their light. So, what are you waiting for? You need to subscribe right now to follow our journey and not miss the next exclusive stories that unveil true transformation. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and share in this powerful wave of change. Comment below with your reactions and feelings about this incredible ending. And share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to be inspired by stories that matter. This is the moment to show your support, because only true fans understand the importance of standing together, hand in hand, creating a beautiful future.